In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a track in the style of the D&B artist used. For this track, I decided to remix James Young's track Infinity, and I try to make it sound like the You and Me remix by Used. So I'll play through the track that we'll be creating today, just so you get an idea of what it'll sound like.
Baby, this love, I'll never let it die. Can't be touched by no one. I like to see him try. I'm a madman for your touch, girl, I've lost control. I'm gonna make this last forever, don't tell me it's impossible. Cause I love you for infinity. I love you for infinity. Cause I love you for infinity. I love you for infinity. Cause I love you for infinity. I love you for infinity. Cause I love you. Cause I love you. Cause I love you for infinity.
So for the start of the track, I created the typical D&B reese everyone uses, this thing here. So basically what it is two saw waves. One was high unison and taking out the fundamental by going to this pen tool and taking out this. So it'll be like that, and you take it out. Then you have another saw wave just doing one, so this is more mono compatible, and then you have a sub, and then you low pass it all with a filter, and then add some distortion, just some tube, not too much, maybe half should be good. And I've just low cut it because I'm adding, I'll be adding a sub as well at some points. So next I added a grand piano, so I just used the Kontakt Grandeur, the middle hard and soft setting. I've taken out some of the bass, added some more high end, and added some more space, which is its version of reverb. I also added this piano velocity thing, which basically makes all the velocities a lot quieter. I've low cut it, high cut it, taken out some low mids. This is what it sounds like. I also added some reverb. This is what the chords are. So they're the same chords of the original track, and the lower bass notes. I dropped the velocity just so they're not as loud, and then I've added these pedal notes. So pedal notes is a note that stays through the whole chord progression, and it's just playing this D major chord on every chord, and it gives a more stable feeling. Next I added this noisy saw, which is pretty cool. It gives you a real D&B feel, and it's good for like filling into a pre-chorus or transitioning. And then it swells up into the pre-chorus. So basically what it is it's just a saw wave or basic mini, any sort of saw wave, bit of unison. And then what we're doing is FMing it with noise. So turn on the noise, pick any noise, it's fine. And then you go FM and then bring it up. Low pass it, and that's it. Next I added the typical jump up D&B bass. So for my track I did this kind of thing. Basically it consists of 4 layers. So here's the main layer. And basically what it is a saw wave, a crush wub, wavetable, and then an LFO, just bringing up the level quickly. Gives it the wub 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 sound. And then I've added a sub. The sub really adds some like a little bit of body on the bottom. Even though I'm low cutting it eventually, it still adds some lows into it. Then I added my own noise, just for high end. Now EQ, high passing, the sound, another little low mid cut, some distortion, pretty heavy, compression multiband or OTT, whatever you want to call it, pretty hot, and then some chorus. Now put the rate down to 0 and the delay down to 0 and mix up to say mid. This gives it like a nice width feeling without, but still being mono compatible. Without, with. And then obviously we've done a bunch of distortion, a bunch of compression, so we need to keep that kind of wub sound. So we put a filter back on and then put the LFO onto here. And it's just doing 1/4 kind of rate. And then also I believe we've got an LFO doing some other stuff later. And then moving into some more EQing, more overdrive or saturation, low cutting it, dropping some low mids, adding a nice little delay bit to some parts, and then a last EQ, just cleaning up as much mud as I could. It's still a really dirty sound, which I'm not too happy about, but it is what it is. And then next is this wide layer, because I tried to make this sound wide, but it just I couldn't make it mono compatible while being wide as well. It just wasn't working, so I needed a separate layer to be wide. And this is just the same patch pretty much, but I've added some unison, cut more the lows, and just made it more wide. Now to jump the notes, so basically these are the notes we're doing. So this is the bass line. What I'm doing is I'm adding a third up and then putting it up another octave, which give it that kind of like chord feeling. With the wide layer. Next layer is just a mid layer to give it some body. So a lot of mid layers are made with this Iconhas kick in the digital wavetable section. Just bring it up to wavetable position, add some noise, put a filter on what's the envelope, some distortion, bit of width, because I like having the low mids kind of wide. And then also this high pass, moving up with the LFO, really cleans up a lot, and some more width with some dimension expander. And then the last sound would be the sub. And the sub is just a basic sign from Ableton, and I've just low cut it. So next I added this Froggy D&B sound, what everyone hears in Jump Up Now. It's basically the basic sine with this wavetable, and then an LFO moving the fine really fast, up and down. But it gives it this like sound, just like rapid fire kind of, gives it like a slight distortion, and then some distortion as well. And then for this next layer, this next sound, which is just like a wub, so a basic sine with another sine, but this sine is up 2 octaves and a 7th, which is just a harmonic series, and then you can move it up different amounts to get the kind of harmonic you're looking for. And I've just got an LFO, moving the filter up and down in a wub fashion, and then I've added a bit of distortion, and I've added a little low cut here, just reduce some of the low mids, which end up making sound really bad. So yeah, that's it. Next, moving into the drums. So these are the drums we have. Punchy, decent body on the kick. This is the kick I'm using. I really like dipping out these low mids. It just makes the kick sound so boxy, and I kind of like the kick trying being as clean as possible, like without, with. Which sounds cleaner to me. Then a snare. I want to really like kind of typical D&B snare. D&B snares are a bit like dubstep snares, so a decent little tail to them, but it's very like washy and very a lot of high end in this kick. In the snare, sorry. And then yeah, typical D&B pattern. Now the percussion. First we start off with the counter snare, which gives it the shuffle feeling. Just gives it kind of a nice little groove, and a hat on the every 8th note, which gives it a nice kind of clean, crisp feeling. It just brings some high end to where the kick hits, then some fast hats. And I usually add some sort of breakbeat or some sort of like shuffle or more groovy hat loop just to add some more groove to the loop. And that's it. And then end of phrases, I do some kind of nice kind of snare rolls and stuff like that. Alrighty, to move us out of the job and fill into the breakdown, I have this typical re-space, which is basically 2 saws and 50 cents fine away from each other, and that makes them kind of interact with each other and gives it that wobbling feeling. Make sure they're down a couple of octaves. I usually find taking out the fundamental of these saw waves makes it sound cleaner, or even using this bend plus and upping it. And it usually makes it sound cleaner and less digital. Add some more distortion, because without the distortion, it kind of sounds out of key, because it's doing so much phasing. And then once you add the distortion, it kind of brings it all together and makes it sound in key. I also go into the global tab and take off the width, which makes it wobble and interfere with each other more. This is the normal width. It kind of sounds cleaner and it's doing more interfering with each other. I added some more saturation. This is a saturation rack or a beefy rack. A low cut, small EQing. I like adding this kind of notch filter that moves through it. That moves this frequency span of the sound, and it gives it this nice kind of like Reese wobble feeling. And then took it up a 5th so it pitches up. Alrighty, now for the breakdown, what I did is I added an ARP, just make it more emotional. These organ chords, which is just a BD sign, mess with the wave a bit and put an LFO on the pan so it pans left and right in your ears. Put a filter on it, bit of compression, bit of OTT, because the sound has a lot of low mids and it needs more high end. This is without. See so much low mids and it sounds kind of really dirty and honky. So this compression brings it up, more high end, more low cutting the low mids and lows, and it's a little bit of chorus to give it some width. A lot of saturation, some warm tube, and some clean tape on the highs, and this other saturator, which gives it more voices and more harmonics, which makes it easy to EQ any kind of mud. Because this is without the distortion. It just sounds so harsh to the ears. What I also did for the main sound is I added this LFO, which turns on. It makes it sound more plucky and less high frequencies, which is a good like wind down, pay homage to the original melody. Now moving into this part of the break, we got the pianos back. Got the Reese back. Now I added piano. I did some acoustic pianoing on my 100-year-old piano. This is what that sounds like. And I just did the same thing on a VST piano as well. Little melody just to fill the background. And that's the break. So that's pretty much the whole song. I'll just play you the second drop.
Love, I'll never let it die. Can't be touched by no one. I like to see him try. I'm a madman for your touch, girl, I've lost control.